Hello, welcome to the day 20 of Advent of Cyber. Diving into the story, let's see what we have for today and what the city of Wereville is dealing with before the sock mask gets into a terrible hands. Let's get into the story and see what's there. The Best Festival Company has launched its limited edition Slink toy with only 10 pieces available at midnight. Within seconds, thousands rushed to buy one, but something strange happened. More than 10 lucky customers received confirmation emails stating that their orders were successful. Confusion spread fast. How could everyone have bought the last toy? Mixkitty called in to investigate. She quickly noticed that multiple buyers purchased at the exact moment, slipping through the system's timing flaw. Sir Caradban's mischievous bandit bunnies had found a way to exploit this chaos, flooding the checkout with rapid clicks. By monitoring, the Best Festive Company faced angry shoppers, missing stock, and mystery that revealed just how dangerous a few milliseconds could be during a holiday rush. The learning objectives of today is to understand what race conditions and how they can affect web applications, learn how to identify and exploit race conditions in web requests, how concurrent requests can manipulate stock or transaction values, explore simple mitigation techniques to prevent race condition vulnerabilities. That's good. So, this is my favorite topic though. I'm excited for that. So let's click on start into both the machines and click on check here. Good. While that's happening, let's get into the content where we can read about race conditions. Race conditions happens when two or more actions occur at the same time, when the system's outcome depends upon the order in which they finish. In web applications, this often happens when multiple users or automated requests simultaneously access or modify shared resources such as inventory or account balances. Improper synchronization is in place. This can lead to unexpected results, such as duplicate transactions, oversold items, or unauthorized data changes. Types of race conditions. Generally, race condition attacks can be divided into three categories: time of check to time of use. A time of check to time of use race condition happens when a program checks something first and uses it later, but the data changes in between. This means that was true at the time of check might no longer be true when the time action happens. It's like checking if a toy is in stock, and by the time you click buy, someone else has already bought it. For example, two users buy the same last item at the same time because the stock was checked out before it was updated. Shared resources. This occurs when multiple users or systems try to change the same data simultaneously without proper control. Since both updates happen together, the final result depends on which one finishes last, creating confusion. Think of two cashiers updating the same inventory spreadsheet at once, and the one overwrites the other's work. Atomicity violation. An atomic operation should happen all at once, either fully done or not at all. Which parts of the process run separately? The request can sneak in between and cause inconsistent results. It's like paying for an item, but before the system confirms it, someone else changes the price. For example, a payment is recorded, but the order confirmation fails because another request interrupts the process. Time for some action. Now that we understand the basic concepts, let's take the example of the Best Festive Company shopping cart app and exploit the race condition. Configuring the environment. First, we will configure Firefox to route traffic through Burp Suite. On the attack box, open Firefox, click on the Foxy proxy icon and select Burp profile so all browser requests are sent to Burp as shown below. Okay, let's do that here. Let's open up Firefox, and inside Firefox we see this extension called as Foxy proxy. What we can do is we can click on that and we can use the option called as burp there. Let's also go to options so that we can see what exactly is configured. Inside the options, if we go to proxies, and here if I go on edit, I can see all the information related to it. So the title is burp, and the type of traffic that we want to transfer it is given as HTTP. Now we can also move HTTPS traffics also. If you configure the CA certificate of burp suit, you can upload to Firefox and start using HTTPS traffic also. So but in our case, the HTTP traffic is being moved, and the host name, which is generally the local host, if you are using burp suit 127.0.1, and default port of burp suit where it is listening is on port 8080. So we choose the default configuration itself, nothing to modify or anything like that. So we are setting this proxy as the burp. We'll be using that here. So that has been set. We can close this extension window there. At the same time, do we have to turn on burp suit? Yes. Then next, click on the burp suit icon and the desktop launch application. So we have burp suit here. Let's open that. It's going to take a few seconds to open. And they say you will see an introductory screen. Choose temporary project in the memory and click on next. On the configuration screen, click on start burp and start the application. Once the application is started, you will see following screen where we use the proxy and the repeater option to exploit the race condition. Okay, so we can see the window which is opened here. Let's make the screen a little bit wider and also reduce the zoom in of my screen so that we can accommodate both of them together. So this is the window of a burp suit community edition the tool. We have two versions of it, which is burp suit and the burp suit professional or burp suit pro, in which we get other features also, like something related to brute forcing and all those things. Other than that, even the community edition covers everything pretty much what is there in the pro version. Just that you don't get few plugins which is there in the burp suit. There is an option for adding plugins. Those few plugins are not available. Other than that, everything is there. Okay, so this is the default window of burp suit. And I always say that if you're not having a dark theme, then you're not a hacker. So let's go to user interface, then display, and change it from light to dark, and also increase the font size so that we can see it more clearly. I hope that does it. Yeah, I feel this is okay. Let's close this window and let's get into the proxy tab. So this is the place where we'll have all our web applications traffics coming into, and we can intercept them, modify them, move it to other locations like the intruder, repeater, or sequencers and place like that, where we can analyze or brute force or modify any request on multiple attempts and work our exploit there. And HTTP history is nothing but the history of all the activities that we do in the web application. It's all going to be noted here. You can see the web traffic coming in. Then these are the socket histories, and these are nothing but the match and replace stuff. So our intercept is on, so we can take advantage of that. And here, let's just do a normal search, or we have the IP here, right? Somewhere we had yeah, we have the IP address. So let's copy, we'll type in this IP address and see if we have any web application. So 10.49.154.43. That's right. Yes. So browsing that, you can see that the page is just loading. It's not doing anything else. But if I come to burp suit here, you can see all the traffic that my Firefox was sending to be loaded here. So if I forward them or drop them, depending upon the action, the web application is going to load there. And we can also see our request, the get request of the IP address that we wanted to browse is right there. Now what will happen if I drop it? And let's turn off the intercept. If I go back to Firefox, it says community edition error, request was dropped by user. Now if I try to reload the page once again, it loads. The reason is because the intercept is off. Now you can come to HTTP history here and see all the history of the web traffic that went from your computer to rest of the places. We can see that here, that the first request that we sent is recorded there. We can just see the request there. But when we see for the second time, when we refreshed it, we can also see the response of the web page that just returned to us. You can see it says you should be redirected automatically to the target URL, and it is referring us to the login page. Now, if I come to the web application here and see, it says login, right? And also the next request here is nothing but pointing it towards the login page itself. That's what we have got. It says the best festive company shop, and then we can see all the source code of the login page there, passwords, everything. Yes, so this is burp suit in short. Let's continue reading here so that we don't go too tangent from the required scope here. Let's continue from here. Once the application is started, you will see the following screen where we'll use the proxy and the repeater option to exploit the race condition. Before proceeding, ensure that you turn off the intercept in burp suite. Open proxy tab and click on the intercept sub tab. If the button says interceptor on, click on it to change it to intercept off. In our case, we have done that. This step ensures that burpsuit no longer holds your web request and allows them to pass through them normally. That's good. Making a legitimate request. Now that the environment is configured, make a normal request. Open Firefox, visit to this IP address, and you will see the following login page, which we already did. On the site login panel, enter the credentials, username attacker, and password as attacker at 123. Sounds like one of my passwords. Attacker at 123. Yes. Let's click on not now. Again, this request will also be noted in the history here. If I filter it in reverse and I can see the login, I can see the username and the password being passed there. Now, let's say we wanted to modify this where I wanted to get unauthenticated page. I can do that. Let's come here. And is there an option to log out? We can log out here. So here, as a normal user, I'm going to be typing in attacker and the password as attacker at 123. Let's go to burp suite here. Now go to intercept and turn on the intercept. Let's go to Firefox back again, click on login. Now see what's going to happen. Inside burp suite, I can see the request that it has made and says attacker and attacker at the 123, basically that. Now I can, instead of it being attacker, I can change it to, let's say, Pranava. Okay, it's going to be my name, and if I click on forward, that should obviously say unauthenticated because there is no username as Pranava and password as attacker as 123. That's what we get here. Again, if I try to say something else, I'll say hacker in this case and give the password as hacker. Okay, let's do it to that. Then click on login, but make sure that intercept is on. Here, going back here, let's change it to attacker and password to be attacker itself, attacker at 123. Uh-oh, my keyboard seems to be not liking what I'm telling it to do. Okay. Here we can replace it with attacker at 123. Now at was URL encoded, so let's also URL encode that. We can right click and select convert selections URL and URL encode all characters. Yeah, let's do that, and it converts it to a URL encoded form. Now if I click on forward, turn off the intercept. If I go back to the page, yeah, we are logged in as the attacker user itself. So that's great. That's the power of burpsuit. We can use it to modify any request that is there. Okay, now getting into the reading content here. After logging in, you will arrive at the main dashboard, which shows the limited edition sling toy with only 10 units available. Yeah, we can see this. I guess this is more funny. Bunny plus blue, 5 in stock. Okay, I wish I can buy that. Oh, and the screenshot is sold. Okay. To make the legitimate purchase, click on add to cart. Okay, let's do that. Let's add to cart for the sling toy and then click on checkout. Then click on checkout. Okay. That should be done. It says on the checkout page, confirm and pay. Shipping billing address is on 1 Candy Lane. Where will WP1001 is my address. Credit card, okay. I don't have any other option. Let's click on confirm and pay. And this says payment received. Thank you for the purchase. You will soon receive an email with all the details. Let's click on view order. They don't see anything else, but yeah, we can see the order that we have placed there. Nice. Exploiting the race condition. Now that we have made a legitimate request, navigate back to burp suite and click on the proxy HTTP history and find the post request to the process checkout endpoint created by our legitimate checkout request. Okay, so let's do that. Let's find where we have that process checkout. So right at the top, we can see that we have the post request. Post is nothing but sending some information to the page, and it is pointed to the process checkout directly. So we have that here. We have the request and the response to it. The request has some information, and this is nothing but confirming about our request there. Right here it says right click on the entry and choose send it to repeater, which will copy the exact HTTP request, header, cookies, and body into burp suite's repeater tool as shown below. Yeah, so we can move this to the repeater tab either by right clicking and sending it to repeater, or the cool way as the hacker control R, which is going to send it to the repeater here. Now, repeater is a tab which we can use for, let's say, as the name says itself, we can repeat the same request again and again in this tab. You can modify, do some slight changes, or create multiple requests of the same type, send them all together. All those can be done with the repeater. It goes with its name. You can use it for repeating the same request again and again. I use it for basically storing all the requests that I want to tinker with. Again, it works also as a storage thing, but its purpose is for sending the same request once again. We can see that we send the same request and it says confirmed once again, which means that it's also going to be affecting the web application. I can refresh and see that the same order is placed once again. So I can repeat this set of requests again and again, any number of times that I want to, and I'll get all those requests popping up right there. Also, we can see it says after stock there is just 6 more remaining. Copy the exact HTTP request. That's fine. That's done. Next, switch to the repeater tab and confirm the request appears there. Right click on the first tab and select add tab to group and click on create tab group. Okay, so we are creating a group of the same request. So we can right click on this and click on add tab to group, and then we can create a group. This is basically if you want to add multiple requests as one set of group, we can do it here. What is the group name that are they specifying any group name? It says enter name of the tab group such as cart. Okay, let's do it. Let's rename it to cart and then click on create. Let's put the color to green. That looks good. Which will create a tab named cart. Let's click on create. That's good. Next, then right click on the request tab and select duplicate tab. Coming here, we can select on the duplicate tab and duplicate it. It's asking how many times have they specified here. When prompted, enter the number of copies you want. For example, 15. If they're asking for 15, let's do 20. You will now have that many identical request tab inside the cart group. Let's click on duplicate and we have 20 requests of the same kind. So we can see that all the 21 requests that we have duplicated, except the first one, which was what we were discussing, all of them are right there. So the same request is there. Now, next, the repeater tab toolbar, send dropdown and menu and select send group in parallel. Last byte synchronization, which launches all the copies at once and waits for the final byte from each response, maximizing the timing overlap to trigger the race condition. So what we are basically doing is that we are sending all these requests at the same time. So we want to now see, is it going to be able to validate what request has come after what and how many items are left. For example, when we saw this page here, since we are doing one at a time, the system was able to figure out, okay, this came after this seconds, Now, after that request is made, we have these many things. So there is some delay that it takes for verifying how many is left in the stock or how many are there for processing, all those things. In case of such applications where we have ordering or we have a limited items of verification, it becomes a crucial thing that every millisecond is counted for the request. So we are trying to exploit that situation of exploiting that millisecond of time for it to process the number of stock by sending all of them at a single point. So we have that option here. We can click on the drop down button and send the option and send group in parallel. So what it does is it's going to send all of them at once. At one shot, the web application is going to receive all these requests at the same time. So every millisecond of this is going to be the same. Then we want to see how is it going to behave. Is there going to be any changes in terms of ordering those items or the stock left and such things. So once this is done, click on the group send group parallel. This will launch all the 15 requests to the server simultaneously. The server will attempt to handle them simultaneously, which will cause the timing bug to appear due to multiple orders being processed at once. So let's click on send group parallel, and I guess all of them would have got the request made. So stock after -1. Okay. So all of these, it says stock before is 6, which means that it did not get a time to validate how many were exactly there, because it says -3 here, but stock before that is set to be is set to be 6. So yeah, we can see this condition being exploited there. That's good. Okay. Finally, visit the web app. You will see multiple confirmed orders and Sling Toy stock reduced, possibly going to negative. Yep, in our case, we see that if I come and refresh here, inside this account, I can see 25 orders to be placed, and there are -15 orders which are there. Now, logically speaking, you would say fine, but let's say zero number of orders makes no sense, right? That's true. There is no value to zero orders. But in case when we have already taken the payment of the customer, it becomes a crucial thing of like saying, it's like a customer coming to your store. You say, they show you that, yeah, we want this donut or we want this burger. And you take their card information, you get them billed, everything is done. And when you go to the place where you can actually get the donut or the burger, they say, sorry, sir, we are out of burgers. So you'll ask, like, then why did you make me wait in the queue? Take my payment, take my receipt, give me a receipt in hand, and then say no burger. Then why did I pay for? Right? That is what is happening even in this place, where even though there is -1, which is not possible, but there are cases where it takes an order. So that's what is the critical thing here. Not only this, in banking applications also, this becomes one of a very crucial thing. Where such race conditions are going to affect their business models really badly. Okay, now getting into the reading section here, let's see what we have. Finally, visit the web app and you will see multiple confirmed orders and the Sling Toy stock reduced, possibly going to negative. Oh, we find a flag there. Okay, let's get the flag. How do I get it? Let's go to here. No, let's change the URL there, and we found the flag. That's nice. Let's copy that. Come here to the clipboard, copy it from the clipboard there. First thing is to place it here. Then click on check. That's done. That's nice. Now comes mitigation. The attacker logged in and made a normal purchase of the limited Sling toy. Using Burpsuit, he captured the checkout request and sent multiple times in parallel. Because the app didn't handle the simultaneously checkout correctly, each request succeeded before the stock could update. This allowed the attacker to buy more toys than available, resulting in a race condition and pushing the stock into negative values. Here are a few mitigation measures to avoid the vulnerability. Use atomic database transactions to stock deduction and order correction execute as a single consistent operation. Perform a final stock validation right before committing the transaction to prevent overselling. Implement in-depth idempotency keys for checkout requests to ensure duplicates aren't processed multiple times. Apply rate limiting or a concurrency control to block repeated checkout attempts from the same user or session. Done. So we have answered the questions below. We have answered already the one question. Now it says repeat the same step as were done for ordering the Sling Toy limited edition. What is the flag value once the stock are negative for bunny plus blue? Okay, let's do it here. Let's click on add to cart, then click on checkout, click on confirm pay, view order. Nice. What is it? Let's uh, reduce the screen size of this page. This here, our toy. Now let's go to burp suit. Okay, inside burp suit, let's go to proxy, then HTTP history. Probably the last one that we made will be having the order there. So process checkout. Yep, that's the post request that we did, and that seems to be like the toy here. So we can see it by from the stock after and before content there. So now let's move it to the repeater here. Coming to the repeater, we have the 22nd request. So let's follow the same process. Let's say create a group, and inside this group, let's call it as bunny, and put the color to red this time. Then click on create. Inside bunny, let's duplicate the tab. Let's say 20 more times itself. That's fine. Then click on send group in parallel, last byte sync. Then it's going to send the entire group, which is the bunny group, in parallel. And with that, we should have the negative values when it comes to these tabs. And we can see that it says negative 17 orders tab. So in the web browser, coming here, refreshing it, we get negative 17 orders of this bunny. Let's go to the home page. And in here, we should find the second flag. That's nice. Yep, this itself. We can come to the clipboard here, copy this, and paste it in there. Click on that. That's done. Feel free to check out the race condition room if you enjoyed this task. That's done. Let's click on check. And with that, we have finished the day 20th of Advent of Cyber. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video, the day 21 of Advent of Cyber. Till then, stay happy, stay smiling. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.